Okay guys, so at this point what we are going to do is to create a function that will submit the user's answer and then send him or her to the next question. Okay, so let's do just that. I'll come here and create the function, but before then let me give some comment. Say create a function to check users response and show the next question or result. Okay, so I'll create a function called submit answer, and then it's going to be an arrow function, and it will take one parameter called selected option. We should know the option the person selected. Okay, so I'll call it selected option. And the first thing that I'm going to do is that I want to find out if the person's selected option is correct. Okay, I'll create a new variable called correct, and then I'll use conditional statement to set a value to true or false. And what I'm going to do is that I want to find out if the selected option, which is the one that we have passed as parameter here, is equal to the correct option of that particular question. Okay, so I'll say is equal to question. So I'll call the questions. I'll use the index, so question index, which has been declared, dot correct option. Then we will set its value to true, otherwise we should set it to false. Okay, so what we have just done here is very simple. Fetch the question and check its option if the person selected option is correct. If it is correct, set the value of correct to true, otherwise set it to false. Okay, and then if this is true, what we are going to do is that I will create a new variable here called correct responses. Okay, so correct responses, and set its value to nothing. Okay, so what I'm intending to do is that if the answer is correct, then I want to increase the correct responses by 1. Okay, so I'll say correct response plus plus. Okay, so that is how we increase a value by 1. Okay, then afterwards I want to also increase the question index so that the next question can show. Okay, so I'll just call the question index here and also increase it by 1. Okay, so let's give it a test. So what I intend to do is that I want to do that once I click on this button. Where's the button? The button says submit. Okay, where is it? Let me just type something here. Okay, there should be a button here. All right, so let me create this button real quick. So I'll copy this button from here, and then under the last option, okay, I think it should come outside, so like this, and then I'll paste it here and then give it a class name of submit, like this, and then I will give it a test of submit response. This one should come down here. Now let's see. Okay, good, we have it right there. Let's give it some extra style to separate it a bit. So I will come here and copy this submit from here, and then I'll give it a margin top of 15 pixels. Okay, now let's see. Okay, good, it looks better now. So what we are going to do is that we will now fetch this particular button and then cause it to fire the function. Okay, so I'll come here, back here, and then I'll call this button. So I'll say add event listener. So doc const submit btn equal to document dot query selector, and I'm selecting the submit. Okay, now afterwards I'll call the submit submit btn dot on click, and then I will call the submit answer. Okay, now before we will be able to call this function, we should have a value for the selected option. I'll create a variable called selected option. Okay, or option selected, and set its value to nothing for now. Okay, so inside of the display question function, I'll come to the part where we did the mapping. Okay, and I will add an event listener to so let me see, add event listener to checkbox. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll call the checkbox and I'll add an onChange event. That is when the value changes. Okay, so I'll set an onChange event, and what I want to do is that I want to have a function that will set the value of the option selected. Okay, so let's do just that. So what I'll do is that inside this function I will call the option selected here, and then set its value to option dot id like this. So let me quickly tell you what is happening here. We have a variable here called option selected, which will be the option the user selects. Now once the user clicks on a particular checkbox, or once the user clicks on a label to checkbox, it will set the option selected value to the ID of that particular option. So in that case, we can now set this one here as the argument of the function called submit answer. Okay, like this, and then save. So now let's give it a try. So I come here, let me just take the quiz, and then, well, now the question itself is not showing. This one should come up a bit, should be immediately under it. Let's see. Okay, good. So we now have the first question, which says who is the greatest of all time. Let me select Leo Messi and then submit. Now let me find out what is going on here. It says assignment of constant variable, line 110 and then line 114. Now let's find out what is happening. Line 110. Okay, what is happening is that we cannot set const, it should be let. Okay, so that we can change it. And now let's see. I just put something here. I select Leo Messi and submit. Something wrong. Let's find out what is going on. the problem with the finished document is submit. Yeah, submit btn, on click submit answer. Okay, now let me just do a proper add event listener. So I'll just add event listener. I want to listen to a click event, and then what I intend to do is to call the submit answer, and I want to set the option selected as my parameter. Now let's see. So afterwards, let's see. Leo Messi. Okay, what's going on? No, not available. Okay, uncut property, correct option. Okay. I know why it is not working. It is not working because we are not doing anything after we set the question index. Okay, so what we can do is that we need to call the display question again. Okay, so here afterwards I'll call the display question, and then I'll now set the new value of the question index. Okay, so like this, and then save. So now let's see. So let me just put something here. I select this one and submit, and then it brings in the second question. Okay, but I want us to take a look at something here after everything is okay, and now it gives an error. Okay, and then say submit response. Okay, so what we need to do is that we have to check whether all the questions have shown. If all the questions have shown, then we will show the user his result. Okay, but if all the questions are not shown, then we will show the next question. So that is where the conditions come in. Okay, so in the meantime I'll comment out this, and then I will come here and say that if into bracket question index is still less than questions dot length, then we want to display the question. So I'll just bring this one here and uncomment it. Okay, else it means that at this point all the questions have shown. Okay, so I will fetch the quiz container and then put certain things inside. So let's do just that. I'll say const quiz container equal to document dot query selector into bracket. I will call the quiz container. After the quiz container has been called, I'll set its initial value to empty string. Okay, I will create an h1. So const h1 document dot create element, and I'll create an h1. I will call this h1 and give it a class list, and add this one called quiz test, and also center. I want it to be at the center. Okay, good. Now I want to set it inner HTML. So h1 dot inner HTML, and then I will say you scored, bring my $sign, and then correct responses. Okay, correct response out of $sign questions dot length. So questions dot length. Okay, like this. And afterwards I will create a button. Okay, I will create a button. So I'll say const btn equal to document dot create element. I'm creating a button. I should give this btn a class list dot add login btn. I'll add another one called retick. Okay, like this. Then finally I'll set it inner HTML. Okay, so I'll call the btn dot inner HTML and set the value to retake quiz, like this. And finally I'll set the display of the question container to none. So I'll call the question container, but don't forget that I've already done it here. Question container, where is it? It is inside of a function. If I want it to be accessible in other functions, then I'll have to make it a global variable. So I'll push it out so that I can fetch it from outside of this display question function. Okay, so I'll come back here and then I'll set its style and the display to none. Okay, I want it to be hidden. Then afterwards, what I will do next is that I will append the quiz, the h1 and then the btn to the quiz container. Okay, so I'll call the quiz container and then append my h1, which is the result, and my btn, like this. Okay, great. So now let's see. I come here, let me just go full screen and then type hi, take quiz, Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's try this one, carbon dioxide. Let's try Sarkodie and then 1957 and submit. Okay, there is something wrong. Let's find out. It says assign a constant variable, line 115. Let's find out 115. What is going on here? Quiz container. Quiz container. Let me find out the actual code. It says assignment to constant variable, line 115 128. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, should be dot inner HTML. Okay, like this. Great. So now let's do it again. Now we have Ronaldo, we have nitrogen, we have Kensack, we have 1957, and then we submit. It says you scored not a number out of okay, let's do the correct thing here. You scored correct response, should be a number, and this one too should be a $sign. Correct response. Let's see. We have a variable here called correct response, and we increase it by 1 every time we have a correct answer. Okay, in that case, let me set the initial value to 0. Okay, maybe that will help. So let's take it again. I say Cristiano Ronaldo, nitrogen, Kensack, 1957, and then boom, we have it right here. But I don't want this particular test, so the h1, okay, I should add the t here so that everything will look clean. Okay, so this time around I'll intentionally get some wrong. Okay, so I'll have my Cristiano Ronaldo all right. This time around, let me choose carbon dioxide. Let me choose, let's say, Kensack, and then let's say 1957 and submit. You see that you score 3 out of 4. Now the next thing to do is to add an event listener on this button to restart the whole thing. Don't go away.